So here we go. My name is Amanda, and I'm 39. When I was 2, my parents got divorced, and my mom married her second husband, who I think got the ball rolling in abuse in my life. He was very physically abusive, mentally, emotionally abusive. He basically told me my worth from the time I was very, very young up until I think 17. I left home. I learned very early on to be angry about everything because any other emotion was weak to him, and that was punished. So at 16, 17, I went to stay with my real dad in Texas. And at that time, I was sexually assaulted. And 9 months later, I gave birth to a little boy. When he was 2, I decided I could not do it. I could not raise him. I could not give him what I never had as a child growing up. So my aunt and uncle took him, raised him, adopted him. Grown in the military. He's amazing. He's an amazing kid. And I had nothing to do with that. Nothing at all to do with that. My aunt and uncle get all the credit, and the Lord above get all the credit in the kind of man that he's turned out to be. But after I gave him up, I got sick and went into the hospital and discovered opiates. And they made me feel better about my life. Everything that I was feeling, the heartbreak that I was feeling for giving up my child, they numbed it. I felt better about who I was. And then in 2018, I was introduced to methamphetamines and the needle, and everything that went into my body from 2018 to July of 2019 was through a needle. And when I realized I needed help and I had a serious problem was when my own family no longer acknowledged, they wouldn't enable me anymore. And it was at that point when I realized I didn't want my mom to bury me. So a distant cousin of mine suggested, she was the only one who actually was speaking to me. And it was to encourage me, even in the midst of my mess. She was encouraging me. She suggested Teen Challenge, and I looked up Teen Challenge and came across Shenandoah Valley Teen Challenge, and made the phone call one day. I was high as I don't know what. I was so high, but I called them and talked to Pastor John and Novella together. They were actually on the phone together, and they were very, very. They were so nice, so nice. And finally in July of 2019, my car broke down. I couldn't even get to my dealer's house if I wanted to go. I couldn't get to the liquor store if I wanted to get to the liquor store. Couldn't pay my rent, couldn't go to work. And we were about to be evicted from our apartment. So I had nothing left. I think he'd gotten one last email from me, and he was like, okay, we're not playing anymore. We're coming to get you on July 26th at this time. I'm going to have the women's house manager and Novella come get you at this time. And I need you to be ready. So July 26th, 2019, Novella knocked on my door, and yes, I can say I have not looked back. 2 weeks later, while I was here, we went to a service at the Potter's House in Harrisonburg, Sunday evening service, and Pastor Matt Cross preached, and I hit my knees that night. And God has showed up. In so many ways. I have a relationship with my son. I have a relationship with my family. I do not struggle with anger. And that was the big thing for me when I got here, was my anger. And you can ask the girls that are still here from July last year. I was angry all the time. And I don't struggle with that anymore. I enjoy life. I want people to see that it is possible to go through the things that I've been through, to go through the trauma that I have been through, and come out the other end not letting a substance control you, not letting a drink control you, not letting anger control you. I couldn't have done this without the vessel of Teen Challenge. I couldn't. I would not be here. I would be dead. I would be buried if not for God in this ministry.